Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I do not have to really make too many points to show that this weasel Prime Minister of Canada is a tyrannical communist with strong traits of a tyrant, and here he decides for the rest of the country that people cannot defend themselves from thugs or attackers, criminals. And he thinks, and I don't think he thinks, because he is surrounded by people with weapons. He's not walking in the street, in the middle of the night, or stay home without any protection, because he's a very important person, but you're not. So you can't have guns, but his buddies can. This article comes from Reuters and is from October 21st, 2022. Canada bans new handgun sales in latest gun control action. It's always like this. If I say that not to own guns is a good thing, I should be the first proving that. Or if I think that helping others is a good thing, and I suggest and I urge everybody to help other people, that means I'm doing it by default. I can't just tell you, hey, you gotta help the poor, but I'm not. I know this is Trudeau. Trudeau is surrounded by armed guards. And believe me, once he's gonna be out of if he's gonna be out of his position, he's still gonna be surrounded by people with guns protecting him. But you will not. You will not, because he said so. And why? I don't know. I thought that it was a kind of tyrannical move. You have one guy telling everybody else how to live their life, how to protect themselves. I thought that that was kind of like slavery, wasn't it? Like someone tells you what to do and when to do and how to do. And on the other hand, he is not following the same rules. I thought we are citizens here. Or are we the subjects? Are you, my Canadian friends, these guys as subjects? He's the Prime Minister. He's over there to represent you. You can say, well, it's a majority of us who don't want to have guns. Okay, that's fine with you. You don't want to have guns? You don't have guns. But don't ask me not to have guns. Well, that's what is a social contract. You entered in a social contract. Social contracts can be, changed. I mean, as I always say, let's say tomorrow in the social contract, the people with blue eyes decided they need to get rid of the people with brown eyes. Whatever, or make them their servants. Okay? With that, for the benefit of those guys. And they vote. And let's say there's more people with blue eyes. That means the brown-eyed people have to obey that because they enter into a social contract. It's for the benefit of the blue-eyed people because they will have an advantage out of this. But you won't. The same here. Some people will not have guns. They think the police will come and defend them when the thug comes in their house and rapes their whatever and whatever. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to defend myself. I want to be able to have guns. I don't want the government to protect me. What if the government gets tyrannical? What if the police officer goes and turns rogue? What am I supposed to do? Can I defend myself? No, you can't. This is what happened in a communist Romania. Nobody had guns, but the government, obviously, because they took care of us. Yeah, right. Regulators prohibiting the sale. Regulations prohibiting the sale, purchase or transfer of handguns within Canada take effect on Friday. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, I can't see this guy, I can't look at this guy, said, adding that the measure builds on earlier effort banning handguns imports. Adding that the measure builds on earlier efforts banning handgun imports. Still bad. That was a bad move as well. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's the same thing with other things here. The first mandate, the next one is going to be even more outrageous, and the next one more outrageous, and they're gonna say, well, you had the first ones. I'm not saying the first ones were justified. Trudeau. I'm not saying that you banning the imports of guns was justified. So don't justify the next crime on the first crime, because the first was a crime. This is what he's doing right now. Well, this builds on the other decision. The first decision was a criminal decision. Now you build on that, you justify that. This one, the second crime, bigger than the first one, saying, well, we did that one, so now we're building on it. It's still a crime. So this is what this guy says. No, because the first one, we build on the first one. Nobody said the first one was, nobody. There were some weasels who are okay with that, they're a friend of guns. The handgun freeze was announced in May alongside proposed legislation that would implement the nation's strongest gun control measures in 40 years as part of Trudeau's plan to tackle gun violence, his office said. This guy is a tyrant. We have frozen the market for handguns in this country, Trudeau said at a news conference in Surrey. Why? Why for me? Why for me? Have I committed a crime? Are you suspecting me of committing a crime? No. Then why would you ban me from owning a gun? Because some other people shoot other people? Well, are you going to ban cars? A lot of people kill other people with guns, and it's a potential threat. They got a lot of gas in it. That's actually a bomb on wheels. Isn't that dangerous? So why don't you take preemptive measures with the cars as well? Or you're going to turn into batteries? What are going to be with the trucks? They got a lot of petrol in that, right? Diesel. This guy is just a tyrant, that's what it is. And as we see gun violence continue to rise, we have an obligation to take actions. Who's we? To take action like that? Do you want? It's unbelievable how they can even argue, start the argument. Do you think that if you take all the guns from all citizens, that you can, which is an impossibility, there will be no guns? Nobody will have any gun. Nobody will have a gun ever. Is that what you think? No, but we limit it. Okay, someone shows up at my house with baseball bats. How am I supposed to react? Gonna think I'm gonna be like, oh, let's do it? Let's say there are 5 of them. Are you gonna ban baseball bats? Let's say they show up with knives. What am I supposed to do? Trudeau? I'm gonna call the cops? Is it what I'm gonna do? And besides, just to make sure, I have no problem defending myself. Let's put it this way. In any way, and I have no problem. I have anyway. Okay? Even if I don't have guns, I can, like the Japanese. Remember, why do you think the Japanese had invented all these martial arts that they invented besides the, the katana, the Kyudo? Because the peasants were not allowed to have guns. Only the samurais were allowed to have guns. So they developed jiu-jitsu and other techniques to defend themselves from thugs. They have the saya, the one that they will cut the whatever crop and so on. Remember, they have everything that you see in the movies, not everything. They come from people needing to learn how to use something else than the katana, the sword, or the spear, because the peasants were not allowed to have it. So they don't have an uprising against the daimyo, the guy in charge, the general, the shogun, eventually. So they develop anyway. So if you take the firearms, they're gonna turn into into the knives. You can't fight the government with the knives. That's true, because probably that's why is the reason why they do this. But you're going to be able to turn things. You're going to be able to create things. It's not hard to create to make a spear from a knife and a little pole. So you can defend yourself from the 5 thugs. It's going to be harder. But if they show up at your house and you have about 2 handguns, a 45 and a 30, 357 Magnum, I don't think they would, it's going to be different. And besides, this is a method of disarming people. It's not, gun violence. Okay, gun violence. Even if you take it as a percentage, it doesn't even match the violence that is done, for instance, with knives. Or not even knives, domestic violence. What are you going to do? Cut people's hands because they beat their wives? Is that what you're going to do? What are you going to do? Just take some of their brains so they don't know what they're doing? I mean, I'm not saying you should not fight crime, but you disarm law-abiding citizens. And the criminals, believe me, they will have the guns. They will. But the criminals and the cops will have the guns. The government, which is, and the criminals, we can slash or, whatever, end in or. But you will not have them. Your family will not. You can defend yourself. Remember, some people live in the countryside. Let's say two pickup trucks stop over there. What are you going to do about it? You don't know who those are. How are you going to withstand the attack? With a fist? With what? The police? Going to tell them to be tolerant? What are you going to do? Now, this is a crime. This is a crime. This is a crime. And he's okay. He is okay in his family. But you're not. But he doesn't give a fuck. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.